So,
Okay, so we have 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order.
the town website gives you the Zoom meeting information. Just click on the link.
We are waiting on Sean real quick here. Warrants are at the other end of the table, they'll work their way down through.
I believe our website is the town of Bakersfield.
Did everybody have a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting, which would be May the 9th, I believe?
I'm going to give you back to our person who manages the website, and she can explain where everyone is. Hang on a moment.
Yes,
Your mic on?
yes, I did, thank you.
I assume you know where the link is on the website for the meeting. That's all she needs.
I'm not sure where it
It
is.
should be under agenda, like if you went to the agenda minutes tab, there's one there and then
I apologize.
No worries. Is this,
like,
have I just been saying?
it's wrong page.
Quick name or quick? Quick. Quick, just like it's written.
Yep.
Okay.
See it? Yeah, it's on both.
You had, John, you had the opportunity to look over
The
the previous
agenda page?
minutes, correct?
I did. I didn't find any corrections.
Okay.
I'll make sure
I would
it's-
entertain a motion.
Make a motion. Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
I make a motion to accept the minute meeting, the prior minute meeting notes
No,
as
no,
presented.
no, you don't need to get in there.
I'd like to second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion has been
Okay.
made and
Okay,
seconded.
Sue, okay, bye-bye.
We call a vote, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Just accepting the meeting minutes, no corrections.
I think there were a couple, I'm gonna start just saying somebody said.
Okay.
Instead of,
Instead of specifically,
yeah,
okay. Maybe a board member
a
or,
board member said, let's do that.
yep. And if it comes into question, I'm sure,
Somebody will remember.
unless it's really, really bothersome, somebody will claim it. All right, warrants are going through, Lance has those. Finances, Carrie, you do have a copy of it.
Yeah.
Lance handed those out, so if everybody take a quick minute and look over those. John has asked some questions as he's been looking at them, that have been answered. Nothing earth shaking. Just because I'm seeing it on here, Mac, if you could, when we get to roads, can we make sure we discuss roadside mowing and bidding, street bids? Probably usually done later in the year, but sooner. Going back on Boston Post, if we,
You talking first pass?
well, the one, I know BJ had said something, or sorry, Maria had said something about BJ working for a guy that does it.
I got another guy that's called the shop too, interested, so I
Excellent.
told him I'd let him know when we're gonna
Excellent.
fix it or whatever we want to do.
Sorry, not to have that discussion yet, but.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on the accounts, finances?
No.
No more questions, Sean?
No. I'm good.
Okay. Alright. Move right along then. Visitors. Linda, would you like to step up to the mic?
Okay.
I'm back because I know you'd miss me if I didn't come.
It's always good to have people to come and chat.
Yeah, good. So what I did is I put some bullets together, basically what's in the request and why we want it for the Historical Society.
Okay.
For the benefit of the people just listening in or for the record,
This is
you
for
were
the
discussing the ARPA request by the
ARPA
Historical
request.
Society.
For the Historical Society, yes. And a lot of this information was already in the report, but just listening to some of the questions that were coming across, I got the feeling that some of you hadn't read that report. So this is easy reading, they're little bullets. I think Lance is probably the only one that knows what's gone on with the Historical Society over the years
Cool.
and has been to
She
several
explained it using
events.
short sentences and pictures for me, so.
Been here for a long time.
Actually, he was physically there to look
Okay.
and kept tabs on it. And so I'm providing that, and one of the questions was, you know, why we went ahead and did the work when we didn't have all the money. We had pretty much all of the money when we started the project. But because of the delay in getting the structural engineers into the building and out to see the outside, you know, because they didn't have the COVID vaccines, they wanted the snow to melt, all these things that came up. And we didn't see the damage to the building until after the COVID restrictions were lifted so that we could get back in there for a meeting. And then we said, you know, something's going on, went around and looked, and it's like, this is not only a problem to the building, but it's a safety hazard to anybody being out and around. Last year was an ideal year to do that because we didn't have the fireworks. We didn't have a lot of people out and around the building. And when both engineers came and said that you need to take that upper gable, all that brick off that's bulging, because once you start jacking up that addition, that's going to fall. And that's going to be a safety hazard to whoever's working down below. And that added about the 40,000, because Richie Ray gave us a price for the brickwork, but he says, I'm not a carpenter, I don't do carpentry work. So we were fortunate to get Phil Lumbra to do it for labor and materials. So we didn't have an estimate up front, but he's treated us fair, he's always treated us fair in the past. But that price went up. And
As materials
Richie
did.
had to use his lift, and it was cheaper for him to be using his lift than it would be for us to rent one and bring it in. So we did pay an extra for that. So I think you all have a picture of this, of what that building looked like on the outside after the frost damage. It was slipping on the corner, there was a big crack on the back. That brick was loose. We tried to put a barrier around there to keep kids away from it. Fortunately, it didn't come apart and create a problem. Nobody got hurt.
So I guess one of the questions I've been asked is if the town is gonna have to pay for this, then it should have been voted on by the town to repair it, as it's not a town, or if it's a town building.
The building is actually owned by deed to the Historical Society.
Okay.
You probably don't remember way back when. Emily Houston's went around beating on doors and enlisted the help of Cindy Newitt and a few other folks to get a historical society started.
Okay.
Because the Catholic Church was going to abandon the building and they wanted somebody to take it over. It needed a lot of repairs, they couldn't afford to do it. So it was for $1 that the Historical Society bought that.
Okay.
So the society was formed in 1997 and they bought the building in 1998.
Okay.
And then it's been like ever since.
Okay.
You
So
know,
not
it-
town owned.
Hmm?
So it's not owned by
It's
the
not,
town.
it's not town owned, but we are a town organization per se. It serves as a community center for the town, but if somebody wanted to use the building, we would say, you need to pay a fee, just like the community center in Fairfield. They charge a fee to those that want to use that.
So there's a historical society, that's who owns it?
That's who owns it.
The building and historical society are a town organization.
And that's
However,
why-
they are not a municipal organization. So they don't fall under the town insurance, for instance,
Right.
okay?
Or the bylaws, where, like Josh said, if we were to do a project of that magnitude, the town would have to vote. We
Right.
couldn't just spend that money
Well, of course, but
and then put it in our budget
it doesn't,
afterwards.
it's a moot point since it is not a town building or,
Right.
or a municipal organization.
Right,
Right, and the question that I received was simply, you know, the funds are meant to help the town, so they were kind of wondering why that wasn't put to a vote before it was done. And that was my understanding, is that it wasn't technically owned by the town, it's owned by an entity that is its own municipality
No.
within the town.
It is
not a
It's its own,
municipality.
not a municipality, it's
not a
own,
municipal organization.
okay, it's its own non-profit organization
Correct.
within the town. Okay.
The question is it a nonprofit, is it an
It is a
LLC?
It's a 501c3, nonprofit. Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Okay. And it was discussed at that town meeting in 2020. We didn't realize we were gonna have this damage, but we know we had a bulge on the east side that we were gonna address.
Right, and that's when you requested
Well,
more that year for.
we didn't request more that year. We said, because somebody spoke up and said, well, are you gonna need more money? Because we could up that. And we said, no, wait, because we didn't have figures and we didn't know what we were dealing with.
Okay.
And do that later. But the
Later.
town has been very good at, supporting us, helping us. And we try to provide a service to the town and maintain that building and show a little community pride in doing it.
Okay. Any other questions?
And I got a new homework assignment. Read this.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Slide that right in there with baseball and my 4 jobs.
Once I be here.
Good.
Thank you.
Someday you'll retire.
That's right. Someday.
Busier now than next one.
So just as a point, I believe what the prior meeting we discussed, Brenda was going to reinstitute the ARPA group who would discuss requests for ARPA funds and then present them to the select board for.
Right. Prioritize and
Correct.
bring it to the select.
So this really should, and Linda, I appreciate you coming in and doing it, and I plan to read it anyhow, but this really should be going to the subcommittee and then delivered to the select board by the subcommittee,
Yeah,
if deemed to move forward.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just so we can put it on record, we're going to meet Wednesday, July 13th.
Wednesday, July
13th,
13th,
yeah, where we'll,
subcommittee.
yeah, we'll
I
take.
thought we were not going that route, that we, now that the funds have changed, that we were thinking of using it for our own
No,
and
that's
not
incorrect.
getting.
That's incorrect. The administration of the funds actually falls to one individual, that's me, to organize the meetings that the citizens will decide what they want. What we don't have the largesse to do is just spend it willy-nilly, whether it's the town or the citizens. But we do have a mandate, and I don't know if you read the last email that I sent you, where it directed us to be specifically mindful of how we were going to do that. And it actually kind of defines what we need to do now. So it changed only 5 or 6 times since we
So
discussed
it's
that.
changed again?
It has changed several times since
Okay.
that was discussed. Mostly
I didn't
it's
see
changed
that
in
email.
the favor, well, there's several that I sent you, so you'll have to
I'll
look.
have to look and see
more
if I can
careful.
find them.
But I want you to read those. And I also want anybody from the select board to come. on Wednesday, July 13th, because that's where it'll be discussed. That's where we'll go over all the details and figure out what exactly we want to spend. Also, by then, we should have the second half of the grant in place and in the bank. And then we're under a mandate to get rid of it or give it back by 2026.
Now, just to clarify, the subcommittee is going to set this up so that they present it to the select board.
Yep.
Ultimately, the suggestions of the subcommittee will be listened to by the select board, and the select board will determine what, if anything, the funds will be used for.
Yep, I would imagine that to be an up or down vote. So if we have X project for X amount of money, that we take that into consideration. Everybody can have that discussion on the 13th of July. And involve as many people in the town, select board, anybody that wants to come, open meeting. We'll present that to the select board for a yep or no.
And Brenda, who's a part of the subcommittee right now?
I'm gonna reconstitute the names that were on there, plus warn it for everybody in the town to come to at that meeting. So we'll get it out printed in all of the usual social media spots, newspaper, and up at the library, and then everybody can decide to come. Hopefully.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Any others and visitors? This may be the appropriate time to,
Can we backtrack just a minute?
yes, yeah, you did have a question on the finance, right?
I'd like to backtrack to the financial report. Two things, just to note that heating fuel for the substations, or
Yes.
this garage, is because of pricing of the fuel itself is $1,700 over budget already.
Mac, are we on an automatic delivery, so they just keep showing up?
Well, they show up when they go up.
Okay, so.
I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, I'm just making note of it.
Well, I'm
That we're
figuring,
gonna have to address that another year, because it's gonna get worse.
Yeah,
I was
probably not gonna get better.
just figuring they showed up at the end of the year, topped off the tank.
Next thing is
Oh,
truck payment
cancel that
is
one.
showed as a deficit. It's under the wrong account, we no longer have a truck payment
Right,
account, that should be under road.
Right,
right.
and there should be two of them on that.
Yes,
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
For 55,832 and change.
that was it.
Makes sense.
Now, at the last meeting, Mac, you said we had a little bit of an underrun last year, so we should be okay as long as it doesn't get too crazy, correct?
Right.
Okay. That was a yes from Mac. I know he doesn't have
Had a surplus last year, you said?
I wouldn't say a surplus, I'd
Okay.
say that there would be,
There's money left in the road commission checking account.
Okay.
yes. I have this letter, I think this is the correct spot for it, or should it go under Board of Business? I can go either, really. You wanna give us a report on the roads, Mac, first, and then we can go over this?
Start on either end. This is Parker Cross access permit. We signed off the first copy. He has roughed it in. It is fine. Good to go.
Everything's the way you want it?
Yep. You just need to sign the back page.
Which way you want me to go with it?
Right to left, left to right, they're both the same.
They started in the middle of those.
Say that.
Well,
Well, I would go with
didn't want to give John that, it's okay. I hope he has his permit. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we
I'm
have-
sure he does.
we have it.
You're probably not supposed to be on that road anyway, right?
That one's actually okay.
Exception to exception provision.
So they can access the store, which no longer
Did you
exists.
see this one, Linda? This email from Linda? Did you get sent
We
this
got
email?
awarded the grant for the
I got sent 8.
municipal invoicing,
Send it to me,
the road inventory. We got that grant for
Okay.
7,200.
It's here.
She can't hear you.
Yeah, these guys are talking.
We can let her read in here.
Right with sidebar,
Shouldn't send it off.
Have you read
Sidebar?
everything that's on?
over here.
Ruby's Sexton Jones? So, behind all that.
Let's do it this way.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We were awarded that grant for local roads. Along with the paving grant, along with the grant for the hydrant seeder, which you saw the bill in there,
I haven't got I haven't got the warrants yet, no.
which it's in the new equipment fund.
And
Coming out.
we got the approval for, how's that gonna work?
It's gonna be 6 to 8 weeks before it get here.
Right,
They ordered it when I first inquired about it, even though they didn't,
yep,
but they ordered 3 of them. So when I spoke with him, I said, he told me the price, which was just under $8,000, $79.90, which was a little bit more than they were talking, but, so I said, before I order it, I said, I gotta talk to Bethany. So I called Bethany. Bethany said, well, let me talk to the uppers and see what's going on. Bethany called me right back and said, they told me as long as you get a invoice and pay it before June, I think the date was 30th. So basically pay for it ahead of time. That way you have the invoice saying that you paid for it. It doesn't have a serial number on it, doesn't have anything else. But they said it, when they applied for the block grant, I guess I'll call it, they said it was good till August. So basically we got till August to really wrap things up, put it on a trailer, get the picture of it,
take a picture of it
let
working.
it working.
Yep,
So that was,
okay.
but that is on order and,
I just wanna make sure we don't get left high and dry on that one.
oh, no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. No, it's, I mean, Milton Rental is good company.
Working the best they can.
Are they still paying,
80, I believe it was. 80%?
yeah, it's on a percentage now?
I believe so,
Okay.
yeah.
It was
200, I thought, right?
Originally it was
7,500.
75 that they were pitching in out of, or no, they said it was 75, yeah.
It was total
Set
77.
total 75, yeah. So
Okay.
it went up some, of course, everything went up,
Everything's gone up, yep.
Yeah.
but anyway.
No, it's good.
FEMA, I gotta sign the thing off on project 693 or whatever it is, and Paul sent me a thing saying it's all good. Now it's gone to the monetary people that 693 has, so that one's out of environmental. The other 2 apparently are still in environmental. He sent Paul a thing today, Tyler a thing today about the guardrails on Waterville, and Tyler thinks he's a little confused because he's thinking it's down there, and so he sent him another letter trying to clarify things as to where, what is, and so hopefully that's one letter away from being the same place as the other.
Okay.
They keep seeing billing for projects other than FEMA on our road warrants,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep trying to attribute it to FEMA funds. It's been aggravating, to say the least.
Do we need to do a warrant strictly FEMA related?
That's what we've been doing.
Okay.
We've been doing that since,
But some of the timesheets,
Almost.
some of the timesheets from before had,
when we were doing the DVD, the damage description,
You know,
you have to give them forced labor accounts, and obviously that includes your weekly stuff, so if it's saying 3 days of FEMA, and the girl saw another day over on some other road,
Yeah.
she said, well, why are we on this road, or why is this road, you know, what I mean, it was
yeah.
clearly not marked. for
yeah, you
FEMA.
almost have to justify taking time out to do your own work.
Right,
Okay. Alright.
but, so road mowing, you want me to get a price from
I
BJ
think-
and,
Yep, and
So,
we'll talk, Tammy, if we can put an advertisement out in all of our places so that we know everything's done right. Yeah, speak with Maria.
what did we end up with for a budget on that?
Thought
We weren't gonna go for the whole thing, we were gonna do parts of it, maybe.
Right, we talked about doing half of the roads, or maybe a third of the roads at a time.
Yeah, whatever it was, because we tried to take what she gave us for a rough number that night, and I think we figured
Yep.
a week or
Anybody have that right quick?
Time memory was third, so we were gonna do it in.
Yeah, I was just curious, oh, roadside mowing, $4,000.
Third of the road is a time anything here.
Yeah, we were gonna try to do a third of the roads, like, pick a, yes,
But we'll still be, what about that piece of equipment we got? Are we using that first?
Yeah,
yeah.
To
That's the-
clarification, Terry,
that's the,
the thirds would be the second level back away
it'd
from
be
the
the
road.
further, it would be the bigger brush and further away from the road that we can't reach with what we want.
So we'll do it first with ours.
The close stuff, you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
grass that comes upside the road every year, and then
Right.
this will be knocked back the brush.
This will be the small trees and stuff that are
Yeah.
starting to encroach on the areas that we can get with the small mower.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what we had discussed back in,
I did get asked about it.
yeah. Well, I just came over Boston Post and like from,
Grass likes to grow on that road.
yeah, well,
Last year it
the,
was terrible.
the alders and stuff in the ditch line are starting to creep out into the
Yeah.
road too,
They
so.
don't quite hit the windshield yet.
They're close.
I got them nice
Stay in
wide
the middle of
mirrors
the
on the
road,
side,
okay.
so.
They're close.
Yep, no, I was on my way here, so I was like, well, I better make sure we bring that up and get that
Yeah.
rolling, so.
Nope, that's good to get it going
Who
now.
is, can I ask who the person is you have that's interested in giving a quote, or is that? No,
Off
can't
the top of
remember.
my head, I can't
Okay,
remember.
no, that's
I got it
fine.
written down at the shop. He called quite a while ago. I called him back 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago and said, we haven't done anything with it yet. I will let you know then when we do it.
Okay.
He was gonna, I told him it's gonna be a bid type thing, and
And,
I
Okay, and
I
you'll-
believe it was Waterville. He was
Okay.
from,
and you'll prioritize
Well,
or
that
pick
might
a
be the
section.
guy that BJ,
Might be the guy that BJ works with.
what the heck is his name?
Do you have roads that are your top priority or a section of Bakersfield, you know, are you thinking like,
Well, I mean, you got the Post Road and East Bakersfield Road are class 2, so you
Okay.
get more miles, or more money per mile on those.
okay,
There's obviously some roads that, you know, they're all fields, like over by Lance's, not the whole road over by Lance's, but there's so much of that that is open field, you wouldn't want him to go there first thing, I wouldn't think, but.
right,
And you don't wanna put him any place where you've got a lot of big trees,
yep,
small stuff that he can handle. I mean, you probably have to look at it with the guy to say, can you do those alders on the Post Road, or are we gonna have to knock them down for you?
okay.
You know, so that's,
Yeah, no, I just wanna make sure that we have we have a plan, so we're getting the best out of our,
oh, we always have a plan.
always got a plan, good, I like to hear it. Any others on roads, grading going all right?
Grading is going good when the rain helps us.
I have a question. Why, I saw the pump on the back of the truck yesterday. Is that like nailed down?
It's
Like,
lag bolted, yeah.
okay.
You'd be
Well, I
hard
can see somebody
pressed. You'd be
doing a
hard pressed to get that
five-finger
out there.
discount on that thing, and I was like, oh dear lord, why are we leaving that out?
No, it's, well, we got no way to put it in. Even we have to park it and unhook it, and, yeah, no, it's lagged down, and, yeah, we've had it there for 10 years, whatever we've had it, and
Okay,
nobody's bothered, so.
And you're talking the pump for the chloride.
Yeah,
yeah,
we did get another load of chloride today, and I talked to Rick Lawrence about another tank that I talked to you guys about, and he actually brought the other tank up today too, or Hawkins did,
Yep,
and he dropped it down there. We haven't set it up yet, but that way we'll have the second tank, and
that's like no cost to us as long as they keep filling it.
as long as their contract's signed saying we're gonna take it from them, yeah.
I like that.
I think that's for a certain amount of time, and then after a certain amount of time, it's your tank. I think that's how that works, so. The only other question I got is, well, are we doing something with flags? I mean, when we talked about it the last time, it
oh,
was
I
gonna be
just
way
said
over,
that.
it was gonna be way over budget,
Yeah,
because they weren't.
I see there's one down by Grandma Gates's that's
needs to be taken
come off
down.
the pole.
Yeah.
Like who?
North end of 108, up by the store.
Gates, by the Gates Farm. There used to be Gates's.
Nothing we put up this year.
No,
Must be
it
from last year.
Yeah.
Somebody threw it out there.
probably hasn't been. Yeah, I wonder if it was beyond where they thought they ended.
No,
No?
I mean, the thing is, last year was extremely windy, and we lost a lot of the hangers. So if it happened to fall down, the citizen picked it up, put it in their house, and didn't know what to do with it, then it must be rock, you know,
Yeah.
they probably threw it out there and said, maybe I'll put it back up.
Yeah, it's like stuck in the ground.
Oh,
I
okay.
It's down,
think it might
it's down
be
by
one of-
Heile's old house.
Yeah, I think it
Jesus.
might be one of ours.
Yeah, well, I don't doubt that a bit, because we had a lot of, I mean, if they weren't destroyed, they were missing.
Right.
Do you remember how much over budget we were going to be for that?
Well, you had 30 flags that, well, I can't remember what they were. We looked at it really quick, it seemed like it was over $1,000 for, at the armory. And we looked at other places which
Like,
aren't
where
really
you
much.
looked on Amazon or
I think
something?
I think we did that. In fact, I think John did it before he was a member.
Yeah,
We don't have
Yeah.
anything budgeted for flags.
We did,
think
but we
it's
put
on
it into
Memorial
the
Day.
Memorial Day
because there was a number,
expenses.
and
Okay.
Kathy told me that that number
$750.
also included the little flags that they put in both the cemeteries, plus the big flag out here, they got replaced.
Yes,
months
page,
ago.
page 2. No, well, that is, no, I think, yes, that is correct. I don't think Maria was aware of that, so she put a line item, because that's for the big flag that got replaced out here,
Just a few dollars.
for the 6355.
I don't know, I'm assuming
Oh.
somebody from the school or something must take care of ordering the small ones for the cemetery, because we've never done that before, but.
Yeah, I think that's, I almost think the VFW takes care
Well,
of
I
those.
thought the Legion.
Their Legion, that's what I know.
Yeah, but somebody has to contact them over the
Right,
site,
for numbers.
because we do end up paying for them.
Oh, we do?
We're
That's
talking,
what Kathy said.
so you're saying it's gonna be over $1,000 for the flags that we need,
I
and we
mean, let's-
budgeted $750.
And then you take out.
I make a motion that we pay for it. I feel obligated to put the flags up.
Does that include the hangers, 1,000?
I believe it did. The ones I've been getting, the hangers are the plastic version, which are fine, but when you get the really strong winds like we do just about Veterans Day, a couple of years of that and they don't take it. The metal ones that I've seen that I think were on
They're on the Amazon site.
I think they were on the Amazon site where, I don't know if they're sold separately, something was separate there if I remember
Yeah.
right, but they're a lot better hanger. I mean, I guess we could get by with the,
My thought is if we put the money into good hangers, that's an expense we wouldn't have to incur every
Right.
time.
right,
So I agree with Lance, I would be willing to put forward the extra amount of money, find it somewhere, to have decent flags flying and everything.
I mean, it's probably gonna be one of those things, you get 2 years out of a flag with the way the
Well,
weather
the
is.
flags are gonna have to be replaced, but if you can buy decent
The hanger.
holders, then
Yeah,
you offset the cost the
Yeah.
following year.
and there might be a few, well, there was a few on this end, but when they took down the poles, I think those went with the poles, so.
Okay.
These on this end, I think
We
we're.
made a motion,
Yeah, I'd second the motion.
okay, we have a motion,
Who really made that motion?
Lance,
Okay.
What are we making a motion for?
to extend the budget for flags from $750 to cover the cost of, what did you say, 30 flags?
I believe it was.
30 flags for Main Street. I mean,
That was doing any pole that has a light on it.
okay,
Before, we did not go past,
one years,
Beaudry's.
okay,
Yeah.
same difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't go past there, there is a couple that we can get by without those. I mean, there's,
There's
like out
less.
here in the park, Brian told us once that he was only supposed to have one flag in a,
In the zone,
yeah, and of course that was that's covered by the big flag, but
okay,
it always looks good when there's two on that honor roll, I think, but.
okay. So the honor roll should have what on it for flags? Would that have our local?
We usually have 2 US flags on there. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know, I
They're 3x5s,
think so.
the standard size.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking 1,500, we're talking 11, 12 probably.
Probably.
I motion,
And how
a
do you want to
second?
handle it if it doesn't come with the good hangers? Should I try to order them off of Amazon somehow and
Yes,
see when they get here?
yep, work with John on that, if you're so willing, sir.
Sure, I'll shoot you,
We can,
find the link that I had
while
before.
you're uploading after the meeting, I can shoot it.
Yeah, so we have a motion and a second to upgrade the budget on flags to cover the cost of 30 flags and metal holders, so they hold up. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go. Anything else on the roads?
I have, I had Rosalie call me and ask me to come up to her place last week, midweek, about the water runoff. I did send a
Yep.
mild video and a couple pictures without discussion, everyone, so they can see I forgot to include, I don't have your messenger, if you even have messenger. But I just shot, it's the same thing as far as I understand that was seen last September when I wasn't privy to the meeting. She did make several notes, and there was the question about the 100-foot between coverts. I said, you know, I don't know, because I honestly don't.
Yep.
I said, go ask the person from the Environmental Protection Agency that you had, or the governmental institution, and I said, and we may have that mandate locally in our own municipality. I don't know the 100 feet between coverts. But she did offer to put her own covert in on one of them. It is closer to the hunting camp across the road, that access. It was one of their last accesses into her
So
field.
when
Like
the
you're talking
sheriff's-
on your side that goes to the sugar house.
Well, it's on the other side of the road from me, but yeah, it's in between her and I, and it's the one access that's kind of, it looks like it's dirt, and she had said, you know, she said she had offered it last year to put her own covert in there if need be, to help with the water. Now, I saw the water, I see what she's saying, the water is running off and making a meadow or a small light pond in her grassed area that she has marked off for whatever it is roped off. I said, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I said that I would bring it to the board. I said, you know, I'd send off the pictures and bring it to the board to just revisit the September discussion that was had and warranted at her place last year.
So we had that discussion, we went up there, did a site visit, met with the people from the state. We have all the books and everything that tell us what our regulations are per federal and state regulations. And last I checked, we are within our state and federal regulations. I do not see us changing anything at this point.
And it's another note, when Lance and I were with Bethany looking at the situation, she made it clear the towns don't take out culverts. I mean, and technically that's a cross pipe, not a culvert. I've been informed by FEMA, unless it's a brook, it's a cross pipe.
Okay.
But she said, don't take them out, especially if they've been there forever, and
Yeah,
they've been there forever.
yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
If,
So could she herself?
Take out a culvert?
On a town road?
Absolutely not.
No.
Can't
No,
work.
significant fines, state, federal, yeah,
So
big trouble
Who
there.
determines if it needs to be fixed or not? I mean,
Fixed-
if it needs
fixed.
to be,
Fixed is different than removed. A culvert that is collapsed can be fixed, a culvert that water no longer flows through can be fixed. You can,
so what is she thinking? It needs to be bigger?
no, she wants
Or
it.
she thinks it's not working?
She wanted it removed so that all the water would flow down to the culvert that comes out, or is just upgrade from John's driveway.
right,
Which would put all that water that she's complaining about on her pasture down on John's front lawn.
Point of,
I don't see it. I don't get it, because I don't see
It's-
how that water is
it's-
gonna end up at John's versus down
Well-
over the hill.
point of discussion, it's too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The state definitions of grade and distance between culverts don't allow for that one to be removed.
And it's laid out, it's black and white, it's right there and there's.
So she wants to remove it, not replace it.
She wants to do two things. She wants to remove one of them, and then another, she wants to add one to go underneath the access area that's by the sugar house.
Yeah, that's not adding a culvert to the road, that's adding a culvert to
An access.
agricultural access.
Yes.
No.
So I don't know if we would entertain that, if she would have to get permits, but is that, and I understand through several conversations that some of that is illegal access as it is. So does it have to get, through the zoning and the roadside to get that access approved and then needs to get upgraded, or is this just a?
In order to upgrade it, yeah, you'd have to file all the permits. The way it is right now, it is beveled before it reaches the town right away, correct? So it's not an issue. If it were to grass over, you can drive off the road anywhere if you really want to. It's, just a matter of, but in order for it to be a legal town access, and if she wanted to put a culvert there, it would require permitting and approval. Yep.
And the only other thing she had said to me was, and I heard this before, and I know this was discussed, but I'll put it out there because she said it about everything was fine until the road was raised, and then everything went a little crazy on the raising of the road. Now, the only thing I see with it going into her pasture, the only thing I could see that we could do to fix that, and I don't mean us, but she could even is just trench that more so that it gives a drop off and funnels that out. Because right now, it literally, the end of the covert kinda is at the same level as the pasture.
Right.
So, and I don't think we intend to dig the road up to sink it deeper.
That suggestion was made at the meeting, to put in, I believe they call it a catch dam.
Yeah, a drain, basically.
Yep, which is basically like a 4 or 6 foot round hole where the water comes out of the culvert, drops into this hole, and then dissipates evenly. Or, the other option is to trench through the pasture field
Put a drain pipe in.
with a drain pipe, and have it daylight or open end on the far end of the field. Neither of those are town responsibility.
So like I said, I promised I would bring it up.
Yeah, we appreciate that. All right, any others on roads?
You all know Dan's situation.
I do.
He had a urinary tract infection. Went to the emergency care, urgent care Thursday. He was called in sick, pain. Went down there. They strongly suggested he check into the hospital. They strongly thought it was sepsis, which it ended up being. He spent 2 days in the hospital, getting rehydrated, getting antibiotics. They let him go on Saturday, and he decided to take today because he was supposed to get blood work results in Cambridge, or get more blood work done possibly in Cambridge today. I haven't seen him since he did that, but he was planning on being back to work tomorrow. So
Should, just a question to the board, should we get a, do we require a letter from his doctor approving return to work for that, since he was admitted to the hospital? Is that something that we should?
I have a
I
question.
don't think you need to, because it's not injury,
Okay.
it's illness.
I
And
wanna
he's
make sure.
not, I mean, most places, if you're gone 3 days, they ask that a doctor's note be provided.
Yep.
But he sounds like he's only been out 2 days.
Oh, he
for
was
one
out
thing.
2 days plus today, which would technically make him 3, but, I mean, as he put it, you bring in a hospital bill. He hasn't seen a doctor per se, he saw the,
Urgent care?
urgent care and doctors in the hospital, so. As far as being over here, I don't think he's seen a doctor yet, as far as over there.
But you're talking about being safe to return.
Yeah,
That he
yeah,
actually is
yeah.
treated.
And the thing with the way he's going about it right now, if he does not feel up his nuts, he will not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's made that.
If he doesn't return tomorrow,
Yeah,
could you ask him
for it.
for a note from
Yeah.
his primary care physician.
But
If
what he
he's
told me,
back
what he
around.
told me this morning is he was planning on being.
Okay. And I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt, we just wanna make sure that Dan's good to come back before Dan comes back, and
Yep.
you don't
No,
hurt
he's
yourself any
got,
further.
Wow.
He's got 12 days of antibiotics and, told to drink a lot of water.
There you go.
Not beer.
I see, I see he's on there, he's probably loving us
Beer
hearing this all out
dehydration.
here, but,
We do have a comment.
yeah.
He's commenting?
Get well soon,
I
Dan.
didn't hear you lots of buzzing.
Oh, that's under Katie.
What's under Katie?
Yeah.
Mark D says they're hearing a lot of buzzing and cutouts from the meeting. You wanna
Who says that?
close your laptop for us?
Not
Thank you.
really, cause that's got my agenda.
Oh, here.
Who said that?
Mark D,
Doremus.
the problem is we're having electronic equipment sit next to the microphones.
Are you doing a list of people that I don't see?
Sure.
Thank you.
We have electronic equipment sitting next to the microphones and it's causing RF interference. So if you have your stuff on, move it, if you can, move it away from the microphones and that should resolve the issues.
Did that cure it?
That's true.
Okay, any others on roads?
Just thought I'd give Dan a shout out.
Alright. You're well soon, Dan, there we go.
Yeah. Do you
All right.
wanna let me know what you want in that ad?
That's not Dan, that's Katie.
Do we wanna go?
Yeah,
Same ad we ran last time. Roadside mowing,
Same.
yep, give us a per mile estimate, or I would say, or per hour estimate with estimated miles covered per hour.
Yeah.
However-
How many miles would be needed to be mowed on Buckham?
Let's not limit ourselves. Let's see what the quotes come in at.
Work on the budget.
Where there was a finger right here.
Will that make a difference whether you're coming for 10 or
Will it matter? My thought is,
would it matter?
if your price is hourly, and you tell me that you can mow 7 miles in an hour, I know that's kind of extreme, but,
I'm just thinking,
or if you tell me that you can do 2.
I'm just
that
thinking
is-
if he's gotta travel and we say we've got 10, he might be willing to travel if we've got 50. Or, I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Make it for this effort.
I would say they give us the quote, and if it's worth our effort, we'll let them know.
Or you could run
We've
it,
got a total of about 50, 60 miles, right?
Well, there's 41, 2 and 3 class.
Yeah. And with the class
With
4.
the class 4 that we don't go there. But, yeah, I mean, and parts of Waterville, top of Waterville, we've never mowed that because nothing grows up there, you know, when you get to the top. As far as Seth's, yeah, I mean, that needs to be mowed a little further than that, but there are roads that you don't need to mow. And again, farmers' fields, you don't need to waste time, you could just high gear it and go.
Do you think that the state is going to require us to knock back, because of drainage, the class 4s eventually?
Oh, eventually it's possible, but most of those are the same way. There's not a lot growing on them because they're so grown in with trees.
That may be a year 4 project.
Yeah.
You know, if everything goes the right way, year 1, 2, and 3.
so we're looking at it being 60 to 70 miles.
No,
No, 40.
41.
50.
40 is tops.
40 is.
40
levels
With
1,
the
2,
class
and 3.
4, we've got 50 miles.
Right.
But 40 is one way. So if you gotta go both ways, it would be 80.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, 2/3 of the post road, you don't need to mow. You know what I mean? Because it's either Jarvis, golf course.
Well, I was just thinking you could give it like a betweener number.
So
Yeah.
Anywhere
Tammy,
between 40 to 60.
if Tammy has to field some questions, we were looking at doing approximately 1/3 of the roads. Technically, that could be up to 24 miles or thereabouts of road, counting doing both sides.
So this is extended,
Yeah.
so
Right.
give me that wording to
It's-
describe where they're going.
To describe where they're going, the second tier, second pass mowing.
Second tier mowing?
Yeah, you're
You're
not
not
out,
basically.
You're talking
Small brush,
the second,
Yeah.
you're talking the second 8 feet basically.
second half.
I think if you just put most,
Roadside mowing.
roadside mowing, anyone that does that
They
type
know.
of work will know what
They know
type
what
of it is.
Yeah. But maybe you should probably have our ad from last year.
I'll
Should be
pull it,
very
I'll
similar.
write it, and I'll send it to you, so watch for it, and then give me the okay.
That's the collective view, right? Not the
The
single.
collective you.
Alright, not the
you
single
all,
you, just making
you
sure.
all, Y'all,
Y'all.
that's the all.
The gentleman that purchased the old mower did show up last week and took it.
Excellent.
He'd come right after he paid for it, the same day he paid for it, he came and got like the control box and the pins and stuff like that. He said, I'll be back in the spring. So him and his son came up that day and hooked it on.
Away it went.
Yeah.
One last paperweight in the air. Perfect. Big boat.
Big boat.
Can't remember what you told me he was gonna do that.
I would imagine no roadsides.
No, he,
No?
No?
he made it sound like it was just a trim pastures, you know, like, you know, where combines and stuff can't get out there.
Yep.
They're just gonna,
Alright.
kinda like what Jarvis does with their rigs. They don't have the extended, you know, really extendable, but they got a sidearm that goes out there a ways, and that's what they do with that. Keep their pastures open.
This is just going to the courier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last chance, any others on roads? I've said this 4 times. This is it. Everyone, all in and all done. Okay, moving on to the next one. Thank you, Mac. New mail. Or mail and review the mail. Here we go. Subject, unleashed dog. May 9th, at approximately 4 p.m., a bicyclist was traveling on Route 1 north in Bakersfield when it was chased by an unleashed dog. The residence is located about 1.7 miles north of Bakersfield, house across the road from the Boston Post Road. We appreciate your attention on this matter. Do we have a registered dog at the residence of, this looks to be Mr. Brian Weston's place of residence, if I'm not mistaken? Yep. Okay.
They have a dog?
I didn't believe it.
I don't think so.
I've stopped there for an ice cream a couple times and I've yet to see one.
Maybe
Yeah.
someone had brought the dog with them to buy an ice cream.
That's what I'm
possible, but
wondering,
I
if
don't
somebody,
believe
I
that
don't
would
think
be,
Brian has a dog.
I don't believe that would be.
His mother used to.
They used to have, yeah,
Spanish Spaniel, but-
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yes,
that,
it was old.
I was gonna say that dog was
But
old,
that, she's
15
not
years
living
ago.
there.
and she's not living there. That's correct.
What kind of dog? It doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Big teeth.
Would you be willing to reach out to Brian and ask him if he has a dog that chased a bicyclist up the road?
I will talk to Mr. Wescombe and to see if indeed he does own a dog.
That would be greatly appreciated. Would you like this report?
Yes, please.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Next one here is from Bridget at the St. Albans Messenger. She's hoping all is well. There's much construction happening now on the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail in Bakersfield. I'm wondering if it has worked its way into any town discussions on terms of what might this mean for recreation, business, etc. Would a select board member be able to speak about this on the phone next week? Or point me in the direction of an individual or committee who might have some thoughts. This was brought to the agenda, to an agenda, and we discussed it with the local impact, I believe. And it was pretty much determined that it touches such a remote corner of town that it would not have much effect on our local
That is,
businesses.
that is correct. The only access is over
Lost Nation Road.
Havelix.
Yeah. well,
It's over past Havelix, yes, it is.
Havelix.
The town does indeed own a small parcel of land adjacent to the rail trail there.
It comes from Lumbras and goes right up through just before the bridge that we,
They were not offering,
and then it'll come by Cahill's.
But yeah, I was gonna say, it does come by Cahill's also, yes.
they were not offering funding to build an access there. That would be up to the towns. I did attend a virtual meeting about this. And it would be up to the towns to find a grant to create a parking area, or to fund it themselves.
The one, the crossing on, Whitney Road, is that actually in Bakersfield, or is that in Fairfield?
It's in
That is
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
That, as I said,
Just
Bakersfield
Fairfield, right?
does indeed own a small parcel of property right there.
Okay.
But I don't foresee somebody coming off the rail trail and coming to Bakersfield from there, where they can just go a little bit further here in East Fairfield.
Yeah, I would agree.
Plus, without a store right now.
Yep.
I mean, you've got the quick stop, of course.
So, does anybody want to reach out to Bridget and tell her that we do not have an opinion? You would be willing to tackle that? Yep. I appreciate that, thank you. Let's see here. First Net Authority. Anybody know what this is? Attention Sam Craig. Oh,
Oh, boy.
What is
Easy
that?
subscription?
we don't need that one,
Is that emergency thing?
might be. So this would
That
actually.
be you guys.
No, this would be transferred, we have somebody who has stepped up and taken that
Oh,
position.
you.
The fire department.
I don't know, you'd have to look at the minutes from a couple meetings ago.
No, they were gonna discuss it. They
No,
gave you
no,
a person
oh, Roger, hang on a minute.
It's,
back when they attended.
Careful.
isn't it Land's dad?
You know,
What's his name?
Andrew Nichols
Yeah, Andrew Nichols?
has agreed to take it. He is the name on the paper.
This belongs to the fire department.
This is the emergency
Yes,
management person?
this is the emergency management person. I swung in there, it looks here like it was April 12th, Tuesday, April 12th, I swung in there. Talked with the entire fire department, and Andrew Nichols stepped up to the plate and said, absolutely, you can put my name on the paper as the guy,
Sweet.
with the assumption that Todd Cosgrove, Matt Hall, and that whole crew would technically be helping. It would not be a one-man operation, he was just willing to have his name signed on the dotted line.
This is communication from First Net Authority to, via the emergency management, directed toward first responders and their ability to stay connected and communicate efficiently. So this belongs over to the fire department.
We can get that, we'll give that to Tammy to file under, take to the fire department. That's that going through.
Can we have the envelope, please?
Yeah,
The envelope, please.
it's award season. Alright, Sue, are you still on there?
Huh?
I was asking
She
Sue.
needs to unmute.
Oh,
Okay, alright, so I have a letter from Sue Solinsky. The listers are looking, or requesting a 21-day, 3-week extension under Title 32, Section 4342 to complete, what is right here? To finish the 2022 grand listing because of 2 situations. There's some private stuff here, so. I'll-
So
I'll break that.
if you want to speak, you need to unmute on your end.
And Sue has reached out to me twice, once on my personal phone and once on my cell phone. I just haven't.
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The memo is pretty self-explanatory, so we just need some more time. And granted this, since I've been on this for twice, and the state has no problem with doing this at all. So I just wanted to give us some more time because of the situations among a couple of us. much all I have to say.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have any issues with me signing this to be sent off?
Can you explain it again? You're not
I
following.
can give you this, I don't feel
Okay.
comfortable reading that on
Oh,
the, just,
Okay.
it's not super private, but it's private information, I feel. This is the paper I have to sign, that just, that's the request to
Just
Jim.
to extend.
Yes.
so does this mean our taxes would be different or no?
Don't believe so.
So you renewed it. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. No, this has nothing to do with taxes being going up or going down. It's just giving us more time to finish the agreements for 2022.
Okay.
Did you want a motion, Mr. Chairman?
To make it more official, I believe a motion in a second to first.
Motion to allow the extension of
The request.
the requested amount of time for completing the grand list from our listers.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if we can get that down to Tammy also. I was told before the meeting that I need to do a better job of getting all these papers down to Tammy that need to be filed.
Push it closer to her.
So, did she leave?
She left.
Okay. I just didn't know, does this need to go anywhere, this signature?
Yes, that
Should
paper
we
needs to be
direct her
sent. Yep, right.
Okay.
Yes. Because that is the official request of an extension for the state.
And I'm to mail it or her?
You.
I'll check
Yeah,
with her.
just,
I'll
yeah,
check.
yeah, check with her, but I think if it saves us time, just send it out.
Yeah, I can.
We also have an email here from Simon.
Ouch.
I don't see the last name. And he is asking about our web design services. We want to know if we're interested, share a proposal or sample. Are we interested in updating our web design?
No.
Okay. I'm not sure if this one is, I'm not sure if it's a legit email or if it's a,
Fishing.
yeah,
Lance is going to one.
take this, it'll make good big. Alright. Next on the agenda is dog issue on the Avenue update.
Yeah, I spoke to the individual last, I think it was Friday, Thursday or Friday. We had a conversation. I expressed that the dogs needed to be licensed by today before the meeting. Unfortunately, we can't see in the book where the license is, but we do see paperwork that shows that at least one of the dogs they came over to take care of because there's paperwork for its rabies shots. So, gonna have to talk to Kathy tomorrow, figure out what happened, and go from there. I do know I received a messenger communication from him on Sunday saying that he did get all the dogs their updated rabies shots and vaccines down at Tractor Supply, and that he was going to be in first thing this morning to get them licensed. I don't know what happened in there, but
Excellent. My thought on that is if he is working towards correcting this issue, we do not issue any fines. Does that seem appropriate?
Yeah.
I mean, last year, when I dealt with this issue, he was very friendly and took care of the issue right off, and it seems to me like he's trying to do what's right. So, thank you for doing that, for, correcting what we can.
and I heard no further reoccurrence of the dogs being loose. So that's the other thing.
Excellent. All right. Next one is the East Bakersfield Culvert project update.
I don't have an update.
As I said, there shouldn't be anything there.
If I touch base with them, it'll be when their estimated time is to start to finish.
Excellent. External audits, have we received anything,
We
Dan?
received one more.
Can I ask who it's from?
It's still sealed because Kathy said we should keep them on sealed.
I agree,
deadline.
yep, I agree. Keep them sealed until the deadline.
When's the deadline again?
Yes.
I don't think we
Perpetual extension.
place.
It's just, and it's thin, so I don't know if it's a report or just a thing saying we're not gonna do it. Fothergill, Segali, and Valley, they're in Montpelier.
Okay.
And these guys were in Montpelier too.
Okay.
the
I
two.
forgot to reach out to Kelly because she was
So-
gone. and left.
So Tammy, we have 3 so far?
Two.
2 so far? Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, I know, Terry, you said you were gonna reach out to KBS, and
I did forget, she was gone to Florida,
no, that's fine, I just,
because I
and-
wondered if the girl did show it to her when she got back.
And I said that I would try to get one to, I forget the name of it, but Parent in Enosburg. Yep.
Who in Enosburg?
Parent is one of the names of the multiple names.
Where did I send them? I sent them twice.
Yeah, I know,
Well, I got them 3 times. The first way back is.
sometimes
Well,
you
we
just,
sent them right in their busiest season.
But I just sent it like 2 weeks ago.
yeah, should we ask her to resend them just
Yeah,
the other
she wanted
day?
me to
Yep.
send.
Um, subject E, plowing bill. We were looking at that for ARPA, or no, ARPA,
FEMA.
sorry,
FEMA.
FEMA. There's too many FEMA, but we won't know anything more on that until we know where we are at the end, correct?
Covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And town hall furnace replacement still on back burner. Any others?
I had a call yesterday about a dog, but I haven't found out whose dog.
You're muted, sorry, I was listening to you. I didn't-
Sorry. I had a phone call yesterday about a dog down by Corey Grattan's. Not sure who owns the dog,
Okay.
but the dog chased his son. He fell off his, or dropped his bike to run and ran in front of a truck.
Ooh.
The dog.
Luckily, the truck was paying attention, stopped in time.
He chased a boy on a bike, you said?
Correct.
Yeah.
On a bike.
And then he was calling me because he had just seen a girl get bit by the same dog who was riding, or a lady who was riding her bike,
Okay.
but I don't know who owns the
We don't know
dog.
who owns the dog. Corey
Grab-
doesn't, yeah, I know, I almost called him away, didn't you? Does he know, he has no idea whose dog it is either?
He
Okay,
said it,
doesn't know where it came from? or-
he knows where it came from, but he doesn't believe it's their dog.
Okay,
Somebody got bit by a
yes,
dog?
unknown female.
But apparently, we got a report from the health officer for,
CSI.
someone else getting bit by the same dog on like the 18th, I think she said.
Okay,
So the dog's bit 2 people?
that is a problem dog.
That is a problem dog. I think they only get 2 bites.
They looked too.
No, seriously.
And then what?
And then they take a nap.
And then you let him back?
No, they take a nap and they don't get up again. That's, in other places I've been at, you get like, dog bites somebody first time, it's a problem, you get like a citation or a warning. Bites it a second time and you're looking for a new pet.
One person needed stitches.
And you
Do
don't,
you know that?
Well, I think that's why we got the report from health officer, right?
Do you have any idea where the dog came from, Linda?
It was at down on Roseres, and they were dog sitting, I understand.
so it doesn't actually reside there.
Oh,
It's,
Only got, it truck reported to Kathy, I think.
has the dog moved on?
I-
Gone to its,
I don't know.
okay.
And where was the cat, where was it, Linda?
At a neighboring property.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're watching the dog, I don't know if their name's in the TV.
Silver Lab,
Would you?
No.
No,
A
okay.
silver lab?
is that what you heard?
I hadn't heard any of this, so.
he did say silver lab,
Okay.
I would
which
say,
I didn't think they owned.
They're
would make sense
strictly-
if they're.
They're strictly chocolate lab people.
Yes.
I would say that if they've been charged with watching the dog, then they're responsible for maintaining the safety of the community. They need to lock the dog up or return it or put it in a kennel or something, because if it's out there biting people.
And my question, John, was, is the dog still there?
Right,
Has
I
it,
agree.
has it gone home? So,
I agree.
Terry, would you be willing to
I
make that
did,
call?
I did try to contact him yesterday and today, and no one's called me
No
back.
one's called you back? Okay.
So I don't know if they're not around or what the deal is, but I can
Are
check if,
they on the
Might-
same trip that, the ATV trip that
Small town, but
the
not
other,
that small.
the other families on, the rest of the families on?
no,
They're not, they didn't
I
go?
didn't see many of the
You
pictures.
didn't see any pictures?
I think I saw him taking his dogs for a drive.
Okay. Alright, would you be willing to reach
Yeah,
out
I'll
again?
keep trying to reach out to them, because they could have just been gone.
And, hit us on the message if you get anywhere with that.
So
even if
what
it's-
is the protocol with it? I mean, if it's not their
So if it's
dog,
not their dog, John is correct, they, in watching the dog, have assumed responsibility for that dog. So,
so
I don't
do they
think,
just
however,
have
we
to
could
prove?
put somebody else's dog down under the care of a second individual.
I don't.
That'd be a super gray area that,
I honestly don't know. I know that in my scenario, my dog bit a guy once in the town of Bakersfield when we had a dog catcher or animal control. And I spoke to the individual, and all they told me to do was lock the dog up for 10 days just to make sure, to prove that it did, even though it had shots, lock it up for 10 days to make sure it didn't have rabies or anything. And if it died, we would know. It was kind of like the answer I got when my dog bit somebody. So,
So even if it's had its rabies shots, you have to do that?
yeah, because there's something about the rabies shots, and it's interesting enough, and I won't go into great detail, but, you know, if you overlap rabies shots, they don't actually add time to it. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So anyhow, I don't know, reading our dog policies or ordinance, what it says. There's nothing really in that ordinance that I read that says how many times a dog has to bite someone before some actions take place in Bakersfield.
I assume that would be who it bites within the town.
Most people only once.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will follow up with that, Terry?
Alright, I'll see what I can find.
Excellent, thank you. Any others? Nothing?
I have nothing.
Would you entertain a motion to adjourn?
Wait.
All John said was he has nothing. I know that
She's gotta make
confused
it
us,
up,
but.
because that's the
So
first time John's had nothing.
Just wanted to remind the board that next week you need to do paychecks. So Kathy will email you on Monday when the warrants are ready.
So this is
The
the,
warrant is ready, and you guys can come in and sign.
okay,
This is
so
the last week.
just to reiterate, because Tammy doesn't have a mic, next week is the off week where we need to come in and sign, road warrants for pay.
Okay, yep.
And I assume Tammy will send us an email or some sort of
Kathy.
reminder.
Kathy's going to, when they're
Okay.
ready.
All
When
right,
the warrants are ready, she'll send you an email, combine sign. Thursday
Excellent.
morning.
neighbor, do your thing.
Now, motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a good night, everybody.